Well, not that kind of board. We're talking about nonprofit boards. We're talking about less talk and more walk from the woman who's been doing it for many years. Nelma Maddox, welcome.
Thanks, Paul. It's good to see you.
I love the music. So
I-
it sets the tone.
Thanks
kind
for
of
that.
a little
Thanks for
diversion.
that.
You think
Very
it's
nice.
surfing, and you're surfing the world of nonprofit boards here. And today you got a great one with you. Not that you haven't had other
No,
great ones.
You're the best. I come here every month regardless, so you're being very nice. So Wayne is here and Jackie is here today, and I'm super excited to talk to them about the Associates Board of Second Harvest. Some of you probably didn't know that it actually existed. And then Wayne is the Chief Development Officer, as you'll kind of see in the write-up afterwards. But
I think he's like a really big guy.
he's a
isn't
big
he?
deal.
Big
Big
deal.
deal. Big deal.
You guys are too good.
So we'll start with Jackie, ladies first. What made you join the Associates Board?
I would say really is love the mission of Second Harvest Food Bank and what they do for our local community. And really the biggest takeaway is tying to my personal story. First gen immigrant, came to America. My grandparents raised me initially. And I know how much every dollar matter and stretch along the way. And I always remember, my husband heard it many times, couldn't afford a Happy Meal as a child. So when we go to McDonald's, it has to be only on Wednesday. Not 29 cents cheeseburger, but the 19 cents hamburger. So we can slice the cheese at home.
Oh,
And
wow.
going through that kind of, experience on your own, you realize, right, how much families are in need. And if there's any way I could give back, that's the main reason why I want to be here and amplify the mission for Second Harvest Food Bank.
And
Okay.
where did you come from? What country?
Oh, Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Okay,
All right.
I was gonna guess, but I was just also gonna say we'll get to Second Harvest, the mission, and then we'll make Wayne tell us about the logistics of the place. But you caught my ear. I'm a huge fan of grandparents. Can you tell me a little bit about what that was like being raised by your grandparents?
You know, being raised by grandparents is so different, especially my grandparents, my grandma. God bless her. I mean, I miss her dearly, but you don't realize how much she has taught you so much value until they're gone. And again, right, going back to being that, hierarchy at the home, taking care of everyone. She is what we call a calculator. She will calculate every dollar, every penny to make sure there's enough to, survive, to help the family. And so I miss her dearly, and I do know a lot of my personal value about earning, saving, investing, and but also, right, knowing that if I have ability to give back, that's why, I want to serve and help the community more.
It makes it even more valuable. And
Yeah.
then for the audience, Jackie does have a career in finance, so we might have time to talk about that. But the reason why that tugs at my heartstrings is because your story shared with me a little bit. I had grandparents, the same thing. There were 7 of us that were not raised by them, but every summer we would end up with them. And I have 6 other cousins that have horror stories about how I would make them do skits and everything. I always call myself like the original Lin-Manuel Miranda because we reenacted The Sound of Music. Exactly.
You
verbatim.
did the Sound of Music?
We did The Sound of
I
Music. There
practically
were
spit
7 of
my
us.
drink out when you said that.
There were
right.
7 of us. There was 5 girls, 2 boys. Anyway, I won't.
The Von Trapp family,
We
yeah.
totally Von Trapp familyed it. It was amazing. I have 2 cousins that still hate me for it. But my grandma, same to what you were saying, she would take a cheeseburger and she would cut it up in 7 slices.
Oh,
She was,
wow.
I always say she was the original inventor of the Snickers Mini because she'd do the same thing to a Snickers bar. Okay, and Paul also knows this. I digress. I kind of go off on tangents, but
That's
but
okay.
that's what makes this show the best is when we talk about your personal stories
Yeah.
and why you're sitting there today. The fact that you have the ability to give back, and I know your husband's here today cheering you on. It's so heartwarming.
Can I follow that thread
Go
just for
for it.
1 second
Sure.
here? So I grew up in the Midwest. I'm a grandparent myself now. Here I'm of that age. I didn't know how to be a grandparent because when I grew up in the 50s and 60s, most grandparents died by the time they were like in their 60s, maybe 70.
We'll have to
So-
look in that stat.
So I didn't know my grandparents. If I did, they seemed really old and I barely knew them. And then they died, when I was 2 or 3 or 4. And I started asking my other friends when I started having grandkids. I've got one that's now 11 and one that's 5.
Aw.
I
Cute.
didn't know what a grandparent did, good or bad. So I feel a lot of baby boomers are making it up now because suddenly we're living a lot longer. We probably will be grandparents or great-grandparents even. Yeah.
It's so different, though. I mean,
Well,
right? So
the
okay,
greatest job in the world.
we can talk for 2 hours with Paul about his situation.
That's the truth.
Wayne, let's shift gears because I really know the audience wants to know kind of how, at least I always did. I never understood. Can you walk me through the logistics of Second Harvest and how many tons of food you provide
And
Orange
tell us
County?
the mission of, because you guys do phenomenal work. You really do.
It really is.
Yeah, we're in the business of helping people who are experiencing food insecurity in Orange County. We're part of a bigger network of food banks across the country. Feeding America, some people are familiar with.
Right.
We serve strictly the residents of Orange County, and we operate out of a distribution center. It's like a warehouse. It's 120,000 square feet over next to Great Park,
Wow.
and it's a logistics company in so many ways. When I've been with the food bank for a little over 2 years, and I had no idea what it was. I thought pantry, but when I walked in, I got educated.
No, this is big. And can I'll pull on that thread for a second here. We've had a number of people, there are food banks that come in. People come and they get served and they pick out the food. You guys do something on a grander scale than that, right?
We do. We actually work with a network of community partners, and those are most of those are like pantries. And what we do is we source food from the federal government. We raise money and we purchase it. We get it from manufacturers and distributors, and then all the grocery stores in Orange County, we do what's called grocery rescue. And then the fifth source, we actually operate a 40-acre farm
Oh my goodness. I
over
didn't
in
know that.
Irvine. We opened it in 2021. Fun fact, we've harvested over 8 million pounds of
My
fresh
goodness,
produce.
growing
since then.
your own. So
phenomenal.
here's the other thing I've heard over and over again from the food banks. America, we know, has a food problem. There's a lot of people going without or not enough. Food insecurity, as everybody says these days. And yet, it's not for lack of food in the country. It's for lack of distribution. Food rots in the field. Food goes bad in the store. Food doesn't get from point A to point B. A food bank gets a giant lot of something, and they say, where are we going to store this? It
That's
needs
why
to be
it's
frozen.
critical. That's why the critical piece at Second Harvest is
Exactly.
the logistical piece,
Exactly.
right?
That's
Yeah.
what's missing. It isn't
the-
just more food. Yeah.
When we look at the scale, last year we distributed over 42 million pounds into Orange County.
Wow.
And we know there are millions and millions of more pounds out there, and it is a logistical issue. We're only so big, and each year we get a little bit better, but there is a lot of people that need it, and it's out there. We just have to figure out how to get it in their hands.
I've done so many things with Second Harvest because their volunteer outreach is probably one of the best in Orange County as well. They do such a nice job with their volunteer outreach program. In fact, that was one of the ways that we were able to kind of get involved with Second Harvest was my son packing food during COVID, being able to actually distribute it to somebody via a mobile pantry at one point in time, handing the boxes to the families at the Honda Center, or when it was the Honda Center. But, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but what I'm saying is I do remember there being a statistic of if you filled Anaheim Stadium,
So last year we saw over 459,000 visits per month. That's the
Per
equi-
month?
Per month, and that's the equivalent. You can fact check me of filling Angel Stadium 10 times every
okay,
month.
so it's
my
Angel
God.
Stadium. Yeah. Isn't
And
that-
what is the current state? We fear that it's getting worse. Is that true?
It is.
High costs. High
If you
cost
think
of
about
living,
what recently happened, the government
yeah,
shut
the
down,
government
right?
shut down, yeah.
Right.
That's going to cause an increase. But before that, we saw we saw food insecurity increasing. So internally with my staff, I called it the crisis within the crisis. The federal government shutdown is a crisis, but there's this ongoing hidden hunger crisis in our community.
I think the other statistic that stands out to me is we never really thought about it during COVID, that when the kids weren't in school, for instance. I don't know. I'm so sorry to ask you this now, but do you guys have kids? You have cats?
Only for babies right
Yeah,
now.
for babies.
In the future.
No pressure. No pressure.
In the future, I think in God's hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Sorry to put you on the spot like that on the radio and on YouTube. But when I think about that, there are so many children in Orange County, and you think about the statistics that they come out in terms of, one out of 5 might be experiencing hunger. During school is when they might get their only meal. And so
Wow.
making the people aware of that fact and making sure that everybody knows that Second Harvest is what keeps it going. When it's like you said, every penny counts, not just
Yeah.
every dollar, but every penny matters.
That way you can, have a little breather. I mean, giving a family just a little breathing room, you never know how much that one extra dollar means to them by giving that ability, right? To know, hey, I can know where to get my food. And that's where I love Second Harvest Food Bank. They have done
Yeah.
a fantastic job and, knowing that it's making a local impact too.
Yeah. So here's what I love. I think that we wouldn't be here if Wayne didn't think that you were the one who's bringing the energy to the Associates Board. Okay, no diss to everybody else who's on the Associates Board.
Hey, for
But-
the record, those are cool. This is the right one.
This
She's
is the one.
the-
Okay.
She's the big deal,
She's a bigger deal.
not literally, figuratively. Okay, so question about that. How often does the Associates Board meet? And then tell me about, what you guys kind of conduct in your meeting. This is for Paul.
And what do you do?
I would say we do a lot of things, just like I learned from Wayne over the course of this year. Have fun along the way.
Okay.
So I think tying back to my financial background too, I noticed, right, you don't have to have time, wait until you retire to start doing something. It's actually better now to integrate, right? Work, personal life, and just, give back, finding purpose now than waiting till later. And that goes back to us Associates Board. We probably meet every other month.
Okay.
And, from in-person meeting to virtual meeting, more so, right? Just understanding, what's the dynamic right now, what's going on with what we need to do to amplify the mission for Second Harvest Food Bank. But most importantly, having fun along the way. Just even the other month, we actually, collaborate, join 10C, and we
Nice.
did the Community Cup. So it's a good way to, share their message with other, companies who supported the actual charity cause. But at the same time, us having fun.
Yeah.
And we didn't win that particular community cup this time. But nonetheless, right, it was just so much fun to be able to, support, really be there to be together.
You won by being there. Right? Or there are winners everywhere. Right?
Yes.
Okay, Wayne, I'm going to put you on the spot. Compare the Associates Board to your established board, and talk to me a little bit about how they compare and contrast, if that's a thing.
So the board of directors is a fiduciary responsible group of folks, and they're technically my boss's boss, our CEO's boss. Typical board that meets on a regular cadence 6 times a year. The associates board was actually preceded me and
Okay.
started in 2017 by a mutual friend, Chrislyn Van Skyver. And it initially it was a group that focused on creating awareness, raising some funds, having some fun, and then the pandemic put a kibosh to it somewhat.
Yeah.
And when I arrived about 2.5 years ago, some of the staff on my team, we sat down and said, hey, what can we do to energize this? And what it came down to is finding good people who like to have fun. And you can hear
Yeah.
like the message. We want to have fun. We want to have humor. The work we do is it's about amplifying the message, like she said. We have a Walk to Feed OC event that is at Tanaka Farms this upcoming April.
Okay.
It's going into its 4th year, and it's each year it's getting a little bit better. The the associates are really excited about this event, about promoting it, starting teams, but they're going to introduce what are we introducing in terms of a fundraiser element?
We will have silent auction.
Oh.
And of course, just really having what I call friendly competition too.
And that's you
so,
guys.
Yep, that's us,
Yeah.
between the associates board members,
Okay.
along with, going through our, work, line of business, right? We can create a friendly competition, drive awareness and campaign and try to fundraise as much as we can to support, Second Harvest Food Bank.
That's really
And
cool.
it's really just adding depth to the atmosphere, because sometimes there's a formality that takes over when it comes to volunteerism, and that's what I appreciate about this group. We currently have 12 members. We're going to continue to grow. They're from all different types of business. This
Yeah.
is like 10-year plus mid-career professionals typically, and they are looking for that purpose. And every single one of them, it's an honor to get to work with them and you.
Thank you.
Can I
So-
ask a hard question here?
Go for it.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm
Only
not
if it
trying to be
doesn't hurt my
funny here.
feelings.
But you twice have said fun. And yet this work doesn't sound fun. I mean, it sounds heartbreaking a little bit. People without
Yeah.
food are suffering. So is the fun helping? Is the fun the community that you build? Is it the fun the event? What's fun? Define fun. Either one of you. Or Jackie. We'll say Jackie. What's fun?
I would say, tying back to what I mentioned earlier too, sometimes I feel like, we're definitely in a rat race and we forget to have fun along the way. And, seeing that there are people in need and, why not, try to do more now than waiting, right? Waiting until you retire, have time and do something later. Integrating now, but, I get it. Time is limited. And the way we can at least try to incorporate or integrate is between work, personal life, and, associates board. It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we do want to make sure that we are doing it to support a mission that makes sense. But ultimately, right, it's try to have fun along the way that will energize you and continue to make you want to do more and serve more.
So I was going to say, I actually attended the one last year. And I'm going to spend 2 minutes on Chrislyn Van Skyver, because she's a friend, but she's also a trapper, because she's the first person who put me on a board at Aliso Viejo
She's
Country
a
Club.
trapper? Like she
Yeah.
sets traps and
This
then
is
they...
the reason why I'm in this room, actually, is because of Chrislyn Van Skyver. But what a heart, what a pistol, what a powerhouse in terms of giving. And probably one of the things that I just remember most is the way her son talks about her. And you'll probably, if you're in the food bank, if you go in, there's pictures of Luke, like he's kind of featured in there a little bit, not like, anyway. But I'm digressing. But it's been her modeling of her behavior and her giving heart that has also spilled over into my son Kyle, at Lion's Heart. And if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't be on boards. And if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't have, gotten the courage to even know what a board is. I'm like Paul in a lot of ways. I'm like, I don't know what you do. I mean, I have no idea what that meant. I would sit there and sometimes the meetings would make sense and sometimes they didn't. But, along the way, I've certainly seen board members' hearts. And I joke around about a lot of people because you'll start to see the same people over and over again. You go, oh, I remember you from Second Harvest. Oh, I remember you from Lion's Heart. Oh, I remember you from Pretend City. I mean, it's just when you have a nonprofit heart, I mean, it just sort of takes you over.
And it would seem like you'd have to, I guess that's what I was fishing for, because it is hard work. It is a tough cause.
Yeah.
And it can wear you down, and you could say, oh, I don't know if I can handle this. And I am busy. I'm not retired, so maybe I should do this later when I'm not so busy here. And fun seems to be a key ingredient that keeps you going.
Yes.
Purpose and all those things, but enjoying what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right? Or am I just reading?
In my career, I've had a few different stops. I worked in collegiate athletics. I worked in for Special Olympics, Southern California, and coming to Second Harvest over the last 2 years. To me, it's very important to have the right mission, but also the right culture.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us, if some people don't know this, but if you're having fun, you want to show up every day. I want to show up every day. I commute an hour every day to go to work because it
realize
is
that.
fun.
Yeah.
And that's what the associates are about. It's having fun. Humor is a big part of it. Like, we love to laugh. I'm always cracking jokes at everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a sad thing that people are hungry, but when you think about bringing joy to people's life, let's have fun doing it, and it can be it can be infectious. One other comment with that walk to Feed OC.
Yeah.
We have a really another thing that's really fun. So Jack's Pacific, for the second year in a row, is donating toys. We have carnival games. Yes.
Okay.
And they're free. The event is free to anybody to attend. So
When is
people,
that?
Pardon me.
When is that?
It's in April 18th.
18.
Okay.
Oh, good job.
When
Thank
is
you.
when is the walk?
That's the Saturday.
Oh, so it's the same day as the walk?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, the carnival? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
Carnival games at the walk.
Yeah.
At tonight.
There.
Ah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Okay.
now we're-
Okay. Perfect.
now
Now
we
we're
picture it.
cooking.
All
So
right.
it's the
Okay.
same day,
Yes.
right? Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
Imagine 700 toys.
That's
First
cool.
come, first serve.
Oh, that's wonderful.
If 5 kids come, they're walking away with a lot of
And is that a
toys.
component to get people to come out and support a cause? Do you just tug at their heartstrings? Or do you just go to people that already have a connection to that organization or that need? You said you grew up and food was not as prevalent as maybe you wanted it to be, so you have a heart for this. Or does this thing have to be fun to get people to come out to it? You have to have carnivals and other things to get people involved. What do you think?
I don't know. I'll,
Probably
Jackie,
a
you take
mix.
it.
Yeah, probably a mix, definitely, right? We know there are those who are in need, and, that's where I know from my personal childhood experience, I want to serve and give back and help those, that are making an impact, which is what Second Harvest Food Bank is doing. But at the same time, for others, they may just need a hook,
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
okay,
bit.
right.
And
get
there are
them to enjoy.
there are certain things, and I would say I've said this on the show a few times, that there's over 9,000 nonprofits in Orange County. I looked it up.
Wow.
And I don't think that's just Orange County, Florida. I was making sure it was Orange County, California,
You are
right?
spot
Yes.
on. There's 9,000.
But the thing about it is, people here, there's a lot of affluence in Orange County, and a lot of people don't know where to give. But if they knew that
Exactly.
one child out of 5 was hungry, for instance, or if they knew that people didn't eat if they weren't in school, and we're coming up on holidays, and the reason why I invited you guys in this time is because this month is Hunger and Homelessness Month. So it has a lot to do with raising awareness. And yes, is there anything wrong with kind of hooking people in and making it fun? No, because those people will be there anyway. And then you have, your outreach. The Associates Board is there for a reason. There's your friends and family. You're raising funds for your very cause that's important to you. Same with Wayne. People are there to support Wayne, but there to support the food bank. It's just probably one of the more important issues that tugs at heartstrings, if I'm being, totally transparent. But that's kind of been
Food
my
hits
thought
home in
process.
Orange County because you don't expect there to be a food crisis here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Can I be that blunt?
yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, I think you hit it spot on. Remember, we were talking about the people that don't go to the beach, or because we don't. Everyone in South County doesn't remember that North County exists,
Right.
right? And so you talk about Pretend City. 1 out of 4 children aren't kindergarten ready. I mean, that's a staggering statistic when you think about in Orange County.
affluent, successful, growing, booming, on TV shows.
Yeah.
Come on, this is
So if you go around, and that's one of the reasons why I do the show, is because if you're just going around and bop around and do your thing and go to your job every day and not realize that there's 9,000 nonprofits that need your help in some way, shape, or form, whether it's time or treasure, I'm a big on that. And, when I have a full-time job, it ends up being treasure more. But that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think anybody who wants to give and has a heart to give. The other thing I like to do is showcase and model that behavior. Wayne has 3 kids, I have 2, and I can happily say that both of mine have giving hearts. They're the first to give.
and I got to plug the story that when was it your son that came in?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to
guy.
grill the kid, why did you do this? And he's kind of like, well, he kind of said, well, my mom made me do this, kind of get into it. And I said, okay, so that just means when she's gone, you're off to college, you're not going to do it. And he says, no, I actually like doing it now. I didn't know I
that's it.
would.
Yeah, they fall
She
in love with it,
pushed
too.
me in, and I fell in love with it. And she's creating that modeling behavior probably for the rest of his life here.
Yeah,
Wow.
spreading kindness.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Thanks, Jackie. I think that's
Yeah.
true. I
I
love
love
that.
kindness.
Yeah.
Tell me some stories of who you serve, because we've had food banks come in and tell amazing stories. I know you're not a food bank per se, but who needs food? Is it just poor people? Sorry to say, people on limited income, or is it people out of work? Is it people going through all sorts of mental health crises, other sorts of, there are, because I've heard amazing stories of people coming in here saying, I hate to admit it, but I went to a food bank once because
I'll let Wayne take it because I
Yeah.
think it's important. He knows the statistics of who's in need.
Who are we serving? Who are you serving?
Yeah, it could be anybody.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
It could be any face that you walk by. Some of the statistics kind of say it all. 1 in 10 people in Orange County are experiencing food insecurity.
1 in 10.
One
Say
in
that
10.
again. 1
One
in 10.
in 10.
3.2 million or whatever, and 1 in 10.
Yes.
That's a lot.
And then it got worse for kids. It's 1 in 8. It was 1 in 9 a year ago.
Okay.
So we're
didn't
seeing
realize.
it.
And
I
here
think I
we are.
misquoted that earlier, but yeah.
Here we are on the campus, right off the campus of University of California, Irvine.
Mm-hmm.
Tough school, prominent school, good school, and I've heard stories, kids struggling with homelessness or food insecurity going here.
There is an interesting statistic related to the University of California system.
Okay.
2 in 5 students experience food insecurity.
Oh my God. This
That
is
makes sense.
The best of the best, and the most expensive schools, and the hardest to get into.
Well,
Yeah.
we tout all this, information of how everyone's been crying about how hard it is to get into college, and believe me, with my oldest, no problem. With the second one, just a little bit tougher. But if you think about it, the tuition is probably, that's where the money would go.
Right.
You don't think about your everyday cost or living, because that's double it. You take the tuition, you have to double it in order to live, room and board, or you have to, sort of prove, need if you want to take advantage of other programs. But then we just saw it recently. There were people that were, in government jobs, maybe a TSA, had to take other jobs. You thought about other things where
Right.
you had to take part in the gig economy. And thank goodness that there's things like that. But at the same time, it's just staggering. It's staggering to think of the need.
And is it enough? Yeah.
I don't think it ever will be, Paul, because I think at the end of the day, it really has to do with awareness. It's kind of like what you're saying in terms of, yes, there can be a food bank that works perfectly. There can be, people like Jackie and people like Wayne and people like me who do their very best to shout from the rooftops.
Right.
We have need.
Thank goodness.
But at the end of the day, it really does come down to building it for future generations and being able to fill our seats with someone else. So,
And let me ask one other question.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
we're at this, the UCSBL Applied Innovation. They have all these big events and conferences
Yeah.
and stuff. And I forgot the organization, but you'll know, what's their association that fundraisers basically belong to, people who raise money for charities and stuff here? There's an organization.
AFP, Association of Fundraising Professionals.
I think that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a conference here.
okay.
I was invited to come just peek in and just be a fly on the wall.
I was there.
Were you there?
I did
Okay.
not speak.
And one of the stats I heard that day, tell me if I heard it right, was giving is down. The number of people, there are fewer people giving, but those who give are giving more because
Yeah,
of
thank God.
affluence.
Thank God.
So there are people stepping there.
Yeah.
There are fewer people donating because it's tougher times, but obviously affluence has an upside, and those who are stepping up are by and large giving more. Is that correct?
Currently, yes.
Okay.
That's the trend. And I'll comment from the outside. People have a perception of Orange County. We talked a little bit earlier. It's kind of baffling to think about the scale and how many people are experiencing this.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's an educational issue, right? Like letting people know about it, they want to give. In Orange County, by and large, when we meet people and we tell them about what's going on, they want to give.
Yeah.
And to that number of affluent, high capacity individuals, they are giving more and more dollars, and it's
Good.
great. But through shows like this and just building awareness, people do the recurring gift, $10
Because
a
you
month.
think it's taken care of.
Yeah.
There are lots of
Yeah.
needs. That one isn't a need here. Can't be. Food can't be an insecure issue for that many people in Orange County because you drive around and look around and you don't see it necessarily.
You don't see it, and I think it just depends in the circles of which you kind of roam. And then now that we're more in our phones every day, I don't want to diss on Gen Z at all.
But that's what they
Okay,
do.
well, we're at 5 minutes left. I know you
Yes.
can't believe it, but the show has gone very quickly. Jackie, I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to give some closing thoughts. Anything that you wanted to talk about today that we didn't address?
Particularly for those who saying, I can't do this right now. This isn't for me. And I have the time, the capacity, the bandwidth, whatever.
I would say just show up, take one step. I mean, myself just a few years ago decided it's time, to give back now. Why wait till later? And to what I mentioned earlier, right? There's always a reason why you may want to delay it, but just do it. That's the key. Once you do it, it's like a whole new purpose fulfillment that really brings you so much joy. And, to what Nelma mentioned, right? Being able to teach the next generation, your son, that's the key to knowing that, hey, it's not only for fulfillment for you, but for your family, but really, right, then it's a ripple impact to do more and serve and really know what you're doing to make a goodness out of this.
Yeah, for sure. But Wayne,
Second Harvest is the number one destination for volunteer experience. People, we had over 16,000 volunteers last year, and I feel very honored that I get to work with our associates board, and Jackie in particular joined like a year ago. It's crazy, time flies. And it's I go to a lot of events and I show up and Jackie's everywhere. We bump into each other, we get the selfie,
Told
we
you.
post it on LinkedIn.
yes, you'll see her everywhere.
And it's a passion. When we sat down and I got to learn your story, I was so grateful. And I would one piece of advice for the listeners: go interview some of these nonprofits that you might have an interest in.
Yes.
Go see if you can meet them. Don't be pretentious like, hey, I'm here to possibly join your board. But just go and learn about them and ask them about the board and how it works. And, take that first step. And as you get into it, involve your significant other. Bring them out, drag them out. Because if they're invested, you get to spend time together.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's important. And then kids,
Yeah. your kids,
if you
for
have
sure.
them.
Drag them along.
Yeah, I love that, Wayne. That's awesome.
Nelma does.
How can they help? How can someone look you up? I know it's secondharvest.org, feedoc.org.
It's feedoc.org.
Okay.
There's a few different ways people can help.
What
if
do you
it-
need the most? Do you just need money? Do you need bodies?
let-
do you need?
Let me do due justice
partners?
here. Anybody out there that's hearing this that may be experiencing food insecurity and is looking for help,
Yep.
go to that website, feedoc.org. In terms of what we need most, there's opportunity in there to sign up to volunteer. We have the distribution center that I mentioned. We also have the farm. Volunteer experiences Monday through Saturday. And then the other is, whatever is personally meaningful to listeners or people that want to make a donation, it matters. You can go online, you can contact one of our staff. And at the end of the day, if you're just interested in learning, reach out to us and come take a tour. We love giving tours. We love talking
And
about
you
it.
looking for more associates, more members,
sounds
more board
great.
members?
It sounds like they have 12. Are you guys looking for maybe 6 more?
So, yes and no. We're it's kind of like word of mouth right now.
Okay.
If someone is interested after they hear about this, we're gonna make you work a little bit. You're gonna have to track one of our associates
track
boards
someone
down. And it's not come talk to Wayne and I decide. Sometimes people reach out to me and I just tell them about it, and if I think they're good, I'll forward them on to our chairs, and
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
a peer vetting process.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's great. So that was really all I had. I really just say thank you so much for being in here. I do want to give Pinky Promise a plug. Coming into December, look at Pinky Promise. They are from Howard University. It's 2 young girls. One of them I had in here. Anaya Green was in here with her mom, and they talked a little bit about a toy drive that they do. So it sounds like you guys have one coming up, not a toy drive, but you're going to have toys at your walk. So that's
Yes.
April 18th, guys.
Next year.
Come join April 18th, 2026. My goodness, that's
Come
right
get
around
your
the
walk
corner.
on.
For
Enjoy.
sure. I'm going to close by saying stay action oriented and with your purpose. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, there's a lot to take in there. We call Board Talk. Less talk, more walk. Spotlighting boards that lead by example right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.